and welcome back to, well, not welcome back. Well, I guess welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to part one of this week's episode. Oh, and hey, it was a pretty good day. Had a good weekend, and sorry, there's a little bit more people walking through the parking lot than normal, so had to make sure I didn't hit anybody. Oh, oh, yeah, back for another week. You know, I was thinking this weekend just about, um, I had lost my train of thought. I'm a little blanked right now on any ideas on what to talk about. Just, oh, got in the car, started recording, then realized I had not even, usually, like, as I'm walking from my office to my car, I will kind of think of things I might talk about, or maybe if I don't, it's usually because I've had a stressful day or something, and so I start talking about that. Today, I just had absolutely nothing on my mind. My head was empty. Uh, Although that does remind me of, I may have talked about it before, but there's one thing my wife and I have talked about a few times how uh, she can't do this, but I can just kind of not think about anything sometimes and just my mind will be completely empty and I'll just be pretty much sitting there blank, not really thinking about anything, just kind of sitting. And she always says how she can't do that, and she immediately starts thinking of one thing to another to another. Kind of is interesting how different people are and things like that. But I think that uh, it's just something I can do where I just don't really think about much of anything or nothing at all. Just kind of empty my mind for a little bit. I don't do it as much as I used to. I think because I'm just a little more busy now during the day. I don't ever really have times not when I'm just like waiting. I'm usually doing something in the meantime, and so I don't often just kind of try that anymore. I feel like I should do that more often just to see if I still can. I kind of do it at night a little bit, but usually at night when I lay down to go to bed, I just start thinking about whatever and just go down like a lot of different trains of thought at once. Kind of a winding trail of thought, which is usually how my conversations go when I'm just enjoying myself talking, which I feel like is how a lot of my podcast episodes have gone because that tends to be just how I talk when I'm relaxed. I don't talk as much like that anymore around anybody but my wife, and when we have a chance to just sit down and talk for a while, I end up doing that. But it's not something I do as commonly anymore. Somebody just almost hit me trying to swerve into my lane. Anyway, oh, I still had my headphone in. I didn't even realize. Oh, hopefully that didn't just cancel the recording because I think that's what happened last time I accidentally canceled the recording. I switched. I think I accidentally switched audio devices I was using, but I think the microphone I have plugged in should override the headphone I'm using. So, anyway, oh, what was I saying before that guy cut me off? Yeah, when I'm talking to my wife, if we're just having a relaxing conversation, it'll just go from topic to topic, and before you know it, neither of us have any idea where we got to or where we started and how we got to what we're talking about. We always end up talking about something weird and fun, though. Oh, and that's just one of those things that I feel like in good relationships, you just kind of lose yourself in when you're talking about them. And I really only have those relationships with my wife and my family. Mainly like my sisters. We'll just talk about things like that sometimes, but it's not as often that I have that kind of conversation with friends because I don't really meet up with friends as much anymore. I have a small group of friends that I play games with, but they're more my my oldest sister and her husband's friends. And like I get along with my brother-in-laws good, and especially my older sister's husband. He's been in the family a little longer, so we talked a little more. I get along with my younger sister's husband too, but he's pretty new to the family, so we haven't had as much opportunity to talk. But outside of my family, really, and just kind of meet up with friends for specific kind of events or like board game nights or stuff like that. And so we end up talking about something more specific and small talk, not really the fun conversation where you never know where it's going to end up. But I think that might not be a thing that everybody does, because I'm realizing more and more that my family is not normal. And we just have a lot of things that are not as common with different people. And so, like, some things we do that we always thought were normal growing up are just not. I can't think of any specific examples off the top of my head right now, but I've talked with my wife about it a lot because she fits in really well with my family, but she's always been told that she's not quite normal too. I mean, we all think there's some kind of neurodivergence there where we think a little differently, but whether it's autism, ADHD, or something else, who knows? But we all just have a little bit different kind of thought patterns to what people seem to consider normal. And it ends up just being that we have some different experiences, I think. But because, yeah, if I get started talking when I'm comfortable around somebody, I'll just kind of keep going and keep going. And then it'll just be one subject to another, and not really stopping for too long on one particular thing. And yeah. And then it's only really around my family that I feel like I can super nerd out to my favorite things, like my specific hobbies like Legion and painting, because I mean, if you've listened to any of this podcast, then you know that I can talk for hours and hours about how I paint my minis. But usually I don't even bring up the fact that I have minis or have hand painted them. That's something I usually just kind of keep to myself unless I'm around some people who are specifically into that. And even then, I don't talk about it as much unless I'm around my family or if somebody's like asking about it. But I have on the minis, I've been kind of planning because I'm hoping that they're still going to have the normal annual army painting competition at the game store I go to. And I'm hoping they'll do a miniature painting competition this year. They might not because it's kind of late. It's the 10th today, and I think last year they announced it like on November 12th or 14th, so there's still a few days, and they might, but I think it's getting kind of late, so I'm worried they might not have the competition this year, or might have moved it. But I'm hoping they have it again, and because I've already started planning out what I'm going to do. Because if they go on the same rule set as last year's rules were a 2 foot by 2 foot base that you decorate for your kind of army to stand on, and then you have addition, and then you have your whole army there. And there were rules for the Warhammer, but I don't do Warhammer. I do Legion, which is not such a big game that they have separate rules for it. They just kind of keep it as like, oh, hey, just bring your army. And so I've got my, this year I was going to do my Imperial army, because last year I did my Separatist army. And this year I want to do a separate army. And I mean, I don't know what their official rules are, but I feel like it's not really in the spirit to bring an army you've already shown. So I was going to bring my Imperials, and I've got a good plan kind of laid out for how I want to do the base. And then I need to just finish up a couple of minis, and then I'll be good. But that's all the time we have for today. So y'all have to wait for tomorrow if you want to hear about how that's going to go. But for me, it's tomorrow. For anybody who's listening, it is in like 5 seconds. If I remember tomorrow what I was even talking about. Hello, and welcome back to part 2 of this week's podcast. And I actually did remember this time what I was originally talking about. Oh, so I don't remember exactly where I got to, but the plan I had for the display is that I wanted to do like, so last year I did kind of a gravel and dust with a small kind of hill and then a little outcrop of rock with a small hill behind it, kind of leading up to it. And so I wanted to do the same kind of general base for this one so that it would be able to match with it, and kind of like I could put them both together as one larger base. But with this one, I saw a really nice kind of terrain. It's like a road, like a paved road essentially. And then I have some black gravel. And so what I was planning on this one is I'm going to do a road with a like the bend of a road. So it'll take up, so there'll be like a, it'll be separated. Like if you're looking at it as a square, the top and right will both have the road exiting out those sides. And then it'll just be bending through the middle of the like terrain. And then that road bend, I was thinking I could like kind of elevate that just a little bit maybe. And then put like the black gravel on the sides of the road. And then I think I might leave it flat though, so I can still do a metal piece underneath to make it magnetic. But I'm going to, do a like bend road, and then on the outside of the bend, I haven't fully decided, but then I was going to do like a little 2-story structure that was like a bombed out kind of building, just kind of nondescript concrete building. So just make it out of cardboard and spray it gray. So that wouldn't really be anything too special, but then I could like have a hole in the wall so you had multiple ways to get into the building and make it kind of a little more interesting in terms of like battlefield terrain. And then I got a little mini water tower that I was going to set up on the other side of the road. A little water tower, and then I'm going to like try and make like a silo of some kind. And I was thinking of making it out of like one of those big vegetable cans, but something like that, and make a little silo and a water tower. But I think that I might try a couple things on the silo. I might do a regular can because the water tower is smaller than I thought it was going to be that I bought. It's like a Christmas Village water tower, and it's only, I don't know exactly how tall, but it's not that tall. And so I was thinking I could just uh, get that and then use a smaller can maybe so it'd be a little more proportional. It would still look a little weird because like the vehicles are going to be so much larger than that. So I'm really not sure. I might not end up using the water tower. I got it for because it just is kind of right scale that I could use it as a no, traffic's bad. It's the right scale that I took off the top of it, and I can use the kind of platform as a like watchtower. So I might do that if I decide not to go with the smaller water tower. But I could also like make my own water tower with something. I use more kind of like random bits and pieces and kind of almost trash in a way to make some of my terrain pieces. Like another one I made, I just used a bunch of PVC pipe, and because it's a lot cheaper than buying the actual terrain, and it's kind of fun to find creative uses for things like that. Because the last one I did, I used cardboard, so I wanted the whole base to be metal, so that I could use magnets to attach the minis to it without it moving around too much. So I got a sheet of zinc plated steel that was only like a 1/32 inch thick, I think, which is like not a ton, but it's enough for the small magnets I use. And so they stuck to it, not strong through the terrain, but enough that when I was carrying it, even the big models wouldn't fall over. And so I did, flat, and then I made a little hill out of pieces of like cardboard, and then covered that hill in metal washers so that they were still magnetic. And then covered the whole thing in like a terrain paste kind of deal. And then did the same with a rock from a fish aquarium. I spray painted it the right color to match, and then after I had painted it the right color, I used some foam to like build a ramp up the back, and then covered all of the pieces I wanted to be climbable on that. I covered them all in washers, and then used that and then covered that whole thing in the terrain paste as well, so that it ended up being a fully mag- fully magnetic. Well, not magnetic because it's just. Well, I guess it's ferromagnetic because it's magnetic. But like, the magnets work with it. Is what I'm trying to say. Uh, but yeah, it's a really cool thing. I've used it a few times since then, and it works out pretty good because it's nice and easy to just pull it out and put it down. And then the other one I made with PVC pipe was like only a 1 foot by 1 foot because it was for a smaller scale painting competition. It was only a single squad, and so I painted those up and just did a pretty basic little thing for that. And then I painted all the PVC pipe brown and made it look like some old rusty kind of oil field equipment or something like that, just like a pipe with a pump or something sticking out of the ground. But it looks pretty good. The only problem is it didn't fit in the display shelf for the competition, so I ended up not even using it at all. But it's fun to have around. It gives like a bit of terrain so that if I'm having a like game at home, it's not just an empty flat battlefield. There's a little more variation to it. But yeah, I'm thinking I want to do the magnetic plate again, but I don't know if I will. It's kind of expensive, and it doesn't really help all that much. It just kind of like it's a fun little thing, but it doesn't really make that big a difference since you're not going to be moving it around while you're playing with it. You're going to be just leaving it sat still, and the minis are going to need to move. But the only time it really mattered was when the hills were magnetic and you could make them be climbing up a really steep hill that normally they couldn't climb. So it was kind of weird, but I think it was worth doing. It was a lot of fun, but the metal cost $25 for just a 2 foot by 2 foot square. So I'm not 100% sure that was worth it, but I might look more into it, see if I can maybe get I don't know if they sell a thinner one that's widely available, because it was already a pretty thin piece of metal. But if they do, it might be worth doing. But I also used a MDF board, so like that composite hardened board beneath it with the smooth side down. So it's got a really nice wood bottom, but it's got metal underneath the top part, so it works out. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today, so I'll probably continue talking about this more tomorrow. Hello, and welcome to part 3 of the Phlightless Podcast. So, I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so I might not be as talkative. So I figured I could go ahead and give it a shot. Keep it up for the week in case I'm feeling even worse tomorrow. So I don't have to scrap it all together. But I got some more work done, and I think I'm finally about done with my. I've talked about it a bit. I was painting a LAAT LE for Star Wars Legion, and I finished uh, after, like, I got it for Father's Day and started painting it pretty soon. So it has been about 6 months, maybe a little less, 5 months probably. So it took a while, but I got it done, and now it's all painted and ready to go. And I need one more uh, squad, and then my Imperial Army will be completely painted again. Because it was completely painted a few months ago, and then I got a few new miniatures. So that's good. But I got the Riot Squad and started painting them. I painted the first coat on the droids, the KX series enforcement droids, which they're pretty cool. And yeah, they have. So I've got their first coat down, and I need to kind of touch up some of the metal bits and then do the washes, and I think that's all. I think I need to redo an eye a little bit because I kind of got some black in one of their eyes, but other than that, pretty straightforward. The stormtroopers, however, have shields that are proving very difficult to paint around. So I'm going to need to spend a little more time getting all their nooks and crannies painted. But should go pretty well. So I'm going to probably work on them next, and then figure out what to paint after that. I still have a lot of things that are primed and ready, but I haven't really gotten around to, like, my Rebel veterans. And I've already primed my Mandalorians too, so I need to paint all of them. I don't really know how I want to paint them, because I want it to be the Mandalorians. I wanted
kind of do metallics because the metallic armor just looks really good. But I have like a gold, a bronze, and like a silver metal, and then I could do different finishes to maybe switch it up a bit. But there's 7 of them, and I kind of want to do colored armor too, so I'm not really sure. I might I might end up just doing the metallics because that's a pretty cool idea, like gold armor and bronze and silver. I did one of my best painted models is Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and his silver armor, I think, is the reason it looks so good, is because it has really like standout metallics. But I don't know if I want to do that for all of them, which I don't think it'd look bad. It's just a lot of people do like bright colors on them, and that's kind of the more usual way of doing it, so I'm not 100% sure. I could also do a mix of both, but I'll have to see. Oh, but I definitely want to start painting a little more often. I haven't been doing it as much for a while, but I want to get back into it because it's pretty fun. It's a good pastime. And I kind of want to start, getting more into Legion because I've done a lot of building miniatures and painting, and it's really fun and all. But I haven't really done as much playing of the game as I would like to. I think it'd be fun to do a little more of the gameplay of the actual game that they're for, because as fun as painting and building the miniatures is, that's not exactly the full intention of them. And I've played a few games and I enjoy it. It just takes a lot of effort to get together the stuff, plan a game, set it up if you're doing it at home, which I want to do them at home because I don't want to be out for hours at a time to the game store to play there. I'd much rather just play at home, be able to see my wife and daughter while I'm doing it. But for now, I'm just running a game with my brother-in-law. He's playing the Imperials and I'm doing the Separatists. And we're running like a Tours of Duty campaign, which has been fun, but we've only done one game so far, really, and then done setup. I think we're going to try and get another one in this Sunday. So I'll have to see how that goes. But hopefully I'm feeling a little better by then, because I wasn't like too sick today, but I definitely had the sniffles real bad and my throat's a little sore. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's all the time that I have for today. So I'll continue this next time. Hello, and welcome to part 4 of this week's podcast. And I'm a little tired today. I'm feeling a bit better than I was yesterday, but still not 100%. Just got done with work, stepped outside, and the sun's been setting pretty early, around around this time usually. It's starting to go down, but today there's a storm cloud on the horizon. It looks really pretty, but it's blocking most of the sunlight, so it's actually pretty dark already. Like, it looks and feels like it's about 15 minutes after sunset, when I think sunset's still technically in another 5 or 10 minutes. Oh, but yeah, oh, sorry. Oh, still getting over that cold. Oh, but I was thinking about uh, some of the models that I have yet to paint for my armies, and I am thinking I'm probably gonna go with whichever ones are needing or are part of my more used armies first. So right now I'm painting up the Imperial Riot Control Squad, because my brother-in-law uses that one um, for his tours of duty army. But I'm trying to figure out, after that, I think I'm going to go with probably the Separatists, since that's the tours of duty army I'm running with. And so I will need. So for them, I have some more battle droids, or not battle droids, the super, or the tactical droids, not the super tactical, but just the tactical droids. I have 2 tactical droids that need painted, 2 repair droids, and then 2 medical droids. The medical droids are not really useful because they don't restore droid units. So they are a little less useful on the battlefield, and so I'm not as worried about them as I am the repair droids, because those are extremely useful and have a lot of utility on them in the game, so I tend to use them a bit more. And then the other squad I have is the Geonosians, and I have 1 squad of them ready to go. I have them primed already, but I need to get the paint right, because I forgot to record uh, what type of mix I used when I. So I have Poggle the Lesser and Sunfak, the 2 Geonosian commanders, and I've already painted them, and I found the perfect mix of colors for it, and I completely forgot to write down what that mix was. I know that I mixed like a white with the green, but I can't remember if it was the white or like the grayish white that I have. It was one of those 2, and I can't remember which. And then I also can't remember what proportion. I don't know why I couldn't say proportions for a second. What proportion each of the colors was contributing. So I don't think it was 50-50. I think it was like uh, 2-to-1 green to white, but I don't remember for sure, and I don't really want to get it wrong. But yeah, it was something like that. But anyway, and then after that, I did brown kind of, and that'll be a bit more of the paint. That's one of the paints that I'm missing right now because I accidentally spilled a lot of it, and so I need to buy more of that paint before I can get to work on them really. But I could go ahead and do their base paint layer. So I could start on them as well. I don't really have a full rebel army. Like, I have enough points for a full rebel army, but the problem is I don't have any commanders because I have the Ewok commanders, and then I have Cassian Andor, but the Ewoks can only command other Ewoks with their orders, so I'd either have to do like low or no order specialties, and then the Cassian, it got downgraded from a commander to an operative. So I think he can still operate as the field commander, so it's technically a legal unit for the sole commander, but since they took away the cheaper rebel commander, I don't have that as an option now, and so I need to get one of the commanders anyway. I'm hoping to maybe get one for Christmas. I know they're releasing a set of multiple soon, so I'm hoping for that, maybe to get that eventually. But yeah, so I'm thinking I'll probably put the rebels off since I don't really have a easy army set up for them, and I'd kind of like to get new models before I really play a game with a rebel army. And I'm also like right at the 900 to 1,000 points, depending on what I add. So it's kind of like right on the edge there, whether or not I even have enough points for a full rebel army. So I'll probably leave them off for now. But then I also have the clone army in the Republic, which I have 2 squads of clone troopers painted and nothing else. And those are the squads back when it was phase 1 or phase 2. And I have I think effectively 2 squads of phase 2 clones. Or I think I have 1 squad of phase 2 clones, but then another squad's worth of extra units. Like, I got the extra not operatives, like the upgrade units, so like the different heavy weapons and the specialist and lieutenant commander or captain. And then I also got Commander Cody, and he comes with 2 optional trooper leaders, which are Waxer and Boyle. So that's 2 more clones plus Commander Cody. Then I have Captain Rex. And then I got the ARF trooper set. So that gave me a just kind of normal Jedi, and then also that added a full squad of ARF troopers, which is, I think there's 7 total, maybe, because there's a duo, and then you can add an extra, and then there's the normal squad. It's either 7 or 8, but all those ARF troopers, and then I also have a squad of ARC troopers. So those are all completely unpainted. And then on top of that, I have a speeder bike and a swamp speeder, and then 2 ATRTs. All of that needs to be painted for the Republic. And I think I actually, and then I have Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's primed, but I haven't done anything else yet. So, and then I also got the other set of clone upgrades that has the clone commander, just the generic clone commander, as well as the medical officer, engineer, and then I can't remember what the comms officer. So I have 8 auxiliary clones plus the 7 from either the 7 or I think it's 7 from the original Phase 2 squad, plus all those specialists. So it's a lot of clones to paint, and I need to remove some. I had 2 Phase 2 clones that were the very first models I ever tried painting, and I didn't know what I was doing. I used regular acrylic paint and just completely covered them, and it got in all the details, so I need to use something to remove that paint before I get started on them. But anyway, that is all the time we have for today, so I'll continue this tomorrow, hopefully. And if I'm not feeling better tomorrow and end up not making one, thanks for listening. Hello, and welcome to part 5 of this week's podcast. Last part. Whew, I might not do the whole drive because my voice is still not all the way back. But I wanted to just do it a little more because I feel like regardless of the views, interaction, or lack thereof, I still want to keep doing this podcast, putting it out. And I do want to eventually try and make some sort of video content and put it on the YouTube channel as well. It seems like, I don't know, I think it'll just be a little bit of fun. It's kind of hard to find the time for something like that, but I think I can manage it. Might just be one of those every once in a while kind of things. But I was trying to think of, because I've done some recording of the process of putting together the LAAT that I have. I've recorded some of that process, so it's a little bit down, but I don't know if I've recorded enough to fully have a whole video on it yet. But I mean, I could just do some. I've taken some pictures, so I could kind of do a little bit of voiceover over some pictures for the bits that are missing, maybe. But I want to try something like that because I really enjoy painting miniatures. And I feel like that's something that I could definitely do, but it'd be a little bit hard to kind of get those videos because I paint the miniatures over the course of probably I mean the fastest I've ever done is like a weekend. I think I did Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for like 2 hours per day. And that was some rebel fleet troopers that I was wanting to get done super fast. And I think I might have actually had to do the final touch ups at the end of. I think that was all the paint, and then I still had to do the base like on Thursday night or something. And then that next Saturday, I was using them in a game, uh, home game of Star Wars role playing. So I think it's kind of hard to make a video out of something like that where it's just so much time and very incremental progress. But it's very fun to see it all come together at the end. So it might be worth doing, but I don't know how exactly I would kind of set that up. If I'd just do like updates when I'd finished everything. I don't really know how to do a time lapse sort of video because that is what would really go good with it. Some sort of time lapse or something like that. I don't really have a great camera for that sort of thing. So, because I have my phone and then I have this person just was trying to not let me in. Oh, I don't really like driving in 5 o'clock traffic, but anyway, yeah, like one idea for it is to do like little updates every time I get a bit of progress. But my cameras, I have an old Fujifilm like camera that my wife's parents gave to her. And then she has a newer camera that I bought for her, but that one's not really a video camera. It's a more of a photography kind of camera, and we don't have a great lens. Like we have a couple lenses for it, but neither of them are uh, quite what I would be looking for, I think. And so trying to figure out like because I've recorded everything so far on my phone because my phone probably has my phone definitely has a better camera for both pictures and video than the older camera we have. But the newer camera is better for pictures, but I don't know how it is on video or if it even does video, really. But I think we'll have to just wait and see on that one. I'm gonna probably just use my phone and do incremental kind of updates more. But and I kind of was thinking maybe some kind of basic camera for videos would be good. Just something that can capture decent video footage. But I want to do time lapses. I think that our cameras can both do them. I just need to learn how that works. Because there is a setting on there for it, I think, but I haven't really figured it out yet. But yeah, I have some footage on the older camera for the video I was thinking about making for the painting the gunship, or the police gunship, and then I have some video on my phone, so I wasn't really 100% sure where that was even going to go. I'll probably just transfer all those files over, stick them together, and see what happens with it. Because I might have something there that could work, but I don't know for sure. Oh, what would be good is if I had like if I could kind of redo it and have multiple takes, but part of the whole process is, permanently changing the thing, so can't really go back and redo it if it's bad, and I didn't really want to take the time to edit down any video I had before finishing the next step. But I'll probably not end up using that. I still like the idea I had of doing like short videos about the individual units I have painted already, because that's something I could just real quick bring out all the paints that I use, kind of describe the process while showing the already finished miniature. And that is something that would work pretty easily. But that's something that I'd probably need to spend a bit more time planning out. I'd like to get like a little turntable or something so that I had a good display of it, because I feel like there's something I could use in that way. I just got to figure it out. Just something that automatically turns already, that's like battery powered. I have like a turntable, like a vinyl player. Maybe that, I don't know how fast that would go, if that would be too fast or too slow. I guess I could always speed it down, or speed it up or slow it down. But either way, that is something that probably could work. I could kind of get a stand, put it on top, and if that was too fast or too slow, I could always try to do some like gear ratio thing, make some little lightweight gears that could loosely work on that. That could be fun too, but I don't have any pre-made gears, so I don't know what I would use. I don't really have a way to 3D print. Well, actually, I know a couple people with 3D printers, but that's all the time we have for today. So thank y'all for listening, and I will catch y'all next time.